fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The first time I died, I saw the threads. They unraveled from the edges of my vision like gossamer strands of starlight and smoke, weaving through the air in patterns so complex they made my skull ache. I reached for them foolishly, desperately, as the truck's headlights blinded me on that rain-slicked highway. My fingers brushed something cold and humming, and then I woke in a city that shouldn't exist. The air here tasted like burnt ozone and jasmine, thick enough to chew. I lay sprawled on black cobblestones that shimmered with veins of gold, my lungs heaving as if I'd sprinted through a desert. Above me, a sky fractured into a kaleidoscope of colors while buildings twisted upward in impossible geometries. Your late little witness. The voice was liquid darkness, a purr that slid down my spine. I turned and saw him leaning against a lamppost that flickered like a dying star. Leather pants clung to lean hips, and his bare chest was a canvas of tattoos that moved. Ren, I breathed, though I didn't know how I knew his name. He pushed off the lamppost, sauntering toward me with predatory grace. Elias Thorne, 27, librarian mortal, he crouched, tilting my chin up with a finger. His touch burned until now I swallowed. Where am I? The Nexus. A second voice, crisp and precise, cut through the hazy air. Another man approached, his every step measured, his tailored silver suit immaculate. Where Ren was wildfire, this man was a scalpel. Kale, Ren drawled. You're ruining the fun. This isn't a game. Kale's gaze pinned me. You've been chosen, Elias. The multiverse is at war. You are the first mortal in millennia who can see the threads of observation and mystery, the two forces that build and unravel all existence. Ren's thumb brushed my lower lip, and we, he whispered, are your guides, or your doom, depends on the day. They took me to a loft suspended between realities. One wall opened to a desert where clockwork scorpions scuttled beneath twin moons. Another looked out on a neon-drenched city where faceless crowds moved in perfect synchronization. Kale explained the rules, or lack thereof. Observation sought to catalog, to know everything, its followers bending reality into rigid order. Mystery thrived in chaos, in the spaces between breaths, in the questions without answers. And you? I asked Ren later, when Kale had vanished into some hidden library. He stretched lazily on the obsidian couch, his tattoos rippling into new shapes, a snake, a rose, a galaxy. I'm the fun one. I rolled my eyes, but my pulse jumped as he caught my wrist and tugged me down. His breath was warm against my ear. You feel it, don't you? The pull. We're made for you, little witness. A triad bound by fate. Kale doesn't seem to agree. Kale's stubborn, but he'll bend. They always do. Weeks bled into months. Kale taught me to manipulate the threads of observation, to freeze time into crystalline fractals. Ren showed me how to dissolve into shadows, to taste the sweetness of the unknown. They orbited me like binary stars, their tensions and desires a constant thrum beneath my skin. And then the attacks began. Reality itself warped, buildings inverted, languages unraveled. Kale blamed Ren's recklessness. Ren accused Kale of stifling the natural chaos. But when a fractal beast made of pure observation lunged for me in the market, it was Ren who shredded it with claws of shadow, and Kale who shielded us in a dome of glowing logic. Afterward, pressed between them in the aftermath, their hands gripping my waist, my shoulders, I felt the truth like a live wire. We were stronger together. The cathedral stood at the Nexus's heart, its doors sealed for eons. Inside lies the first truth, Kale said, adjusting his glasses, the origin of the war. Ren smirked, but his knuckles whitened on his dagger, or our graves. The doors opened with a groan. Inside, a mirror stretched floor to ceiling, but my reflection wasn't mine, it was them. Kale and Ren fused into a single being of light and dark, their hands clasped over a pulsing heart. No, Kale whispered. Ren laughed, wild and raw, fated mates, of course. The ground trembled, the mirror cracked, and from its shards poured a being of pure observation, a skeletal figure with too many eyes. Its voice scraped my mind like broken glass. The triad must not be completed. Kale's shields erupted around us. Ren's shadows lashed like whips, but the being seized me, its fingers sinking into my chest, and I screamed as it began to unmake me, thread by thread. Elias, their voices intertwined, their hands reached for me. And as my vision failed, I felt it, their lips on mine, one hot, one cold, as they surrendered to the bond at last, and the world exploded.